Hello my friends, it is your brother Hampton. A one take, only take video today on how to make money on social media. It is not as high quality as some of my other videos if you've seen them. I usually have a nice camera and a mic. I'm doing this on my phone, which I haven't done in a while, but I'll talk about that in a moment. But I'm doing so much stuff with hybrid calisthenics nowadays that this is really the only way hybrid creators can thrive. Not only have content every once in a while, but thrive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making some shorter content. I know how to build an audience was like I think 30 minutes, but I'm going to make some shorter content, and this will be the 101. This will be the introductory class on how to make money on social media. And I really want to hear your feedback and your questions. So please give me your questions below, because this is one of the topics where I feel like I have lost that fresh perspective. Because there was a Joe Rogan podcast that happened, I think, like 3 years ago, and I watched it about a year and a half ago. And at the time, I was somewhat getting started. I was on social media, but I didn't understand exactly how to make money from it. Some people were talking like social media creators are rich, and other people were like, well, they can make money. So there was a question that Joe Rogan asked. He said, how do you make money on social media? He said, I have 6 million followers. I haven't made a penny. Okay, now at the time I listened closely because I was like, I didn't know either. If you gave me 6 million followers, I wouldn't know how to make money. Nowadays, if I had a solid account, if I had the same brand I had now on Instagram, scaled to 6 million, I would not trade that for a $5 million a year revenue business in town. So that has a lot of worth if you know what you're doing. And I'm going to talk about that. Really, and I forget exactly what answer Joe got. I don't want to misquote his guest. But really what it comes down to is if you have attention, then you can make money. Okay? There's a lot of other factors other than attention, which I'll talk about in just a second. But really, if you have attention, almost in anything, like if you just do a Google search on like whatever wacky topic you have, and you find an article on it, and there's some attention on it, then, for example, advertisers will advertise on that. And if it's an advertisement, this is just to get started. If it's an advertisement that's not related to it, like for example, if you find my video on pull-ups and you get an advertisement for a lawnmower, then the conversion rate isn't going to necessarily be that high. Yet, because advertisers won't pay as much, they'll still pay something, because if you have attention, then someone's willing to borrow or pay you for that attention, if that makes sense. So really, the thing that you want to think about as you're starting your social media journey, and the reason I'm starting one of the first videos I'm doing is about this, is because I want you guys to be able to feel and have some faith in the process. I don't want you to feel like, well, I built 100,000 subscribers, but I have no idea how to make money. I'm still broke. There is a way you can leverage that. Now, as you grow, you're going to get offers by email or direct messages. So make sure you check those. Make sure you check those, and make sure that you have your settings set to where people can message you. And I'll tell you this, the easiest ones that you get, the ones that are most available, the ones that require you just to say, okay, do it, go, are usually the least efficient ones, right? Because advertisement, this is why it's appealing to so many people. Advertisement is just allowing someone to put something on your video or allowing someone to put something on your website. And because the people who manage that arbitrage, for example, Google Ads, which is a valuable tool, they do so much and it's so easy that you're probably not getting as much as you would equal attention, equal industry as you would somewhere else. So let me explain. Another thing that's slightly harder, where you have to do actual work, is brand deals, sponsorship, something that I'm somewhat known for not taking. I've never done a sponsorship. But sponsorships, obviously per view, same account, you're going to get a lot more money. Like a video where you might only get a couple $100 just from ads alone, you might be paid $8,000, $10,000. These aren't exaggerated figures. Some people get way higher than that. Some people are watching this thinking that I'm like lowballing it. But $8,000, $10,000 for reading something for a minute or so, 30 seconds, it depends on the brand. those usually pay a lot higher because it requires you to do more work. And again, I want you to think before you get all excited about trading your time for this money. It is not as free as you might think. Okay, this is something I want to delve deeper into on another video. I know I keep saying that, but it really is because it's something I want to spend more time on. Because as you're doing this, you're also trading some, not trading, but you're also putting your name behind that. And if you just consider it free money and you back every product that asks you to back them, you're eventually, one, you're eventually going to find a product that isn't that good and they paid you a couple $100s. And you think, oh, it's free money, so I might as well do it. And then your audience doesn't respect you anymore because you vouched for it and it was actually a bad product. And two, if you take every sponsorship offer that you get, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, especially if you need money, but if possible, I wouldn't do it, because if you take every sponsorship offer that you get, depending on your content, your audience may get a little bit inundated with that. It won't be as special when you recommend something. For example, if I took a sponsorship now, it would probably be a bigger deal than it would otherwise, just because people would think, well, he hasn't taken a sponsorship now, he's suddenly taking one. What is his company? Why is it so special? People may be more likely to take one. And I'm not straight up against it, so that might happen at some point, and I would certainly keep that in mind as I negotiate for a higher rate. And of course, it would have to be a product that I like. But once again, attention is the name of the game. I would put that on top. And a couple other things I have written down. I don't want to box it into one of these things. I would have to think a little bit more on this, but at least 3 things to keep in mind that will influence how you make money on social media. And that is, 1, attention. You have to have the attention. And it'll also be contingent on the respect that you have with your audience. And it'll also be contingent on the relevance or the compatibility of you and whatever brand that you're either promoting or selling yourself. So let me delve into that. We've already talked about attention, and I have a video before on how to start from zero and how you can start getting that attention with organic reach and such. But let's talk about respect a little bit, because this is something that I didn't understand at the beginning. And once again, just like how to make money on social media, it seems so foreign to me. And I don't know if part of that is because the world has evolved in terms of their environment and how we understand social media. We may take it a little bit more seriously now, even than we took it 1 or 2 years ago. So part of it may be that, and so I really want to get your opinion on this. What do you think? What are the questions that you have? But let's go into respect real quick. I used to think, as I was starting, that I was making videos and I was trying to make them informational, educational, and entertaining in my own way, but really it was for education. It was for informing people how to get healthier and fitter, especially with no equipment. So those were my videos. And I would notice that videos just about everywhere, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, just about everywhere, there's videos that are relatively easy, where it's a video or a picture of a baby or a puppy or a kitten, and it would get way higher engagement and views than I would normally. So like this, something I would spend 10 hours on, back then I didn't spend 10 hours, but something I would spend a long time on, someone could get a picture of their puppy doing something cute or a video of their kitten meowing or something, and it would get a lot more engagement than I would. I'd be like, wow, maybe that's what I should do. And that's something that other people talk about. This is one of the things that you hear some social media gurus talk about, but I want to expand upon, which is, obviously likes and numbers are not everything. And if you, let's say, for example, and it's okay to post that every once in a while if you want, but if you built your entire brand on having cute puppies, then you won't be as respected or as renowned by your audience and your community for having an opinion they can trust. And this makes sense, right? I mean, you might be a very wise person, but that's not why you gathered the community. That's not what they gathered around. A good example that I can use for myself is if I built my brand on fitness and I suddenly talk about politics, some people might listen to me, but others may not. I would say the majority would not. Certainly not compared to a political figure that they followed for politics. That's not the only reason I talk about politics. I don't talk about politics. And to use the converse example, if a kitten page or a puppy page, they they recommended a fitness product, then it wouldn't have as much impact as if I recommended a fitness product, right? Because people follow me for fitness, and you can see how this manifests in other ways. An example I can use for myself, once again, is I built my platform largely on short videos. Not entirely. In fact, one of my most viewed videos is a longer video, long form video on how to break calisthenics. But most people know me, at least most people know me through short videos. And as a result, if I release a podcast, even if I make that podcast really good, it's less likely to get views than my short videos because people are used to that short form content. And plus I'm good at it. I think I'm a lot better at short form content than I'm at long form content. So the point is, other than attention, you want to think about how much your audience respects you. Because if respecting them play a role, then every major brand on the planet wouldn't even post stuff about it. Nike, Puma, what's one that's not fitness? Like the Honest Company. Like, why even post stuff about that's relevant to their brand? Why not just post puppies and babies because they get the most likes? No, obviously respect plays a role. You want to establish some trust with your audience. So just keep that in mind. Even if you do something that's puppy and kitten related, that's still fine. You can make money from that as long as you have the attention. But keep in mind that respect and how much your audience is willing to listen to you and your opinion will really play a role. And I was gonna wrap up, but one final thing. There's some people who don't show their voice or their face. And I recognize that that's not for everyone. Video is a platform, a means through which I communicate fairly comfortably, but I recognize not everyone's like that. And while I get that, probably the more ways the audience can interact with you, the more they'll trust you. So if you only knew me through my voice, you might still trust me, but not as much as you would now that you've seen me. I think it's just human nature. And even more so, if you couldn't hear me or see me and you only saw words, it'd be hard to build a platform like that. Obviously bloggers do, but even bloggers have pictures of themselves and they have interviews of themselves oftentimes. So there's something to keep in mind, that one way you can establish the connection with the audience is of course through as many means as possible. And the third thing I want to talk about is the compatibility. If we've already touched upon this, is how relevant are you to the product that you're promoting or making? And I've talked about promotion before, so let me talk about making. Because we talked about just having ads on your site or your videos, and then doing a brand deal, and then I guess a harder thing than all of those, not I guess, but definitely a harder thing than both of those is selling your own product, right? So if you allow just a company to put an ad on your site, for a pull-up bar or something. That's easy. All you have to do is say yes, maybe click a setting on your website, boom, done. Okay, doing a brand deal, you have to read something, you have to recommend it, you might have to review it. It's a little bit more work. Much more work than that, and I know because I've done this before, is actually sourcing a good pull-up bar. And you don't just you don't go to a supplier and just say, well, you shouldn't, and just say, hey, I want a pull-up bar. Please, I want to order 500 of them. Please ship them to this warehouse, and then I'll ship them. I'll sell them to people. Some people do that. It's not a great idea because you want to audit products, and this often costs at least hundreds, probably usually thousands of dollars as you source products and you ship them. So it's a lot more work, way higher than doing a brand deal. But with that, you also make more money and you have more control, and it's something that I would do if you have the means and the interest of doing that. Because while it is harder, the reward is much greater. Is to sell your own product. Now, with all of these, a line connecting all of these is the line has to be somewhat relevant, right? And I'll give you a practical example of something I've done. I've tried to sell t-shirts before, and I sell a fair amount of those. People want to support me, but this is something that people will buy usually because they want to support me. It's not because they really like the shirt. I really like the shirt, but then again, I made it, so I'm a little bit biased. But if it was something that was more related to me, for example, gym rings will easily outsell t-shirts, just because I'm not known for t-shirts, and people will buy gym rings, one, because they want the gym rings. Gym rings are like things that you pull on. I know some of you don't know. Sorry, I should have clarified that. Think about like pull-up bar, but two wooden rings, then your arms can can twist and you can adjust the levels. Those are gym rings. You can look them up if you want to know more. But the relevancy and the compatibility you have with the product or service that we haven't really talked about will really, really, really affect how much money you make. When I first, again, this is, I hope you guys are benefiting from this because I learned this from experience. And while it seems obvious, me explaining it now, it's not always that obvious when you're figuring it out, because I had some luck, I guess, or you could say, yeah, I'll call it some luck, because some of it was luck at early on in my social media career, and I got hundreds of thousands of followers, and they all seemed to really like me. I interacted with them every day, and they were like, some of them really respected what I did, some of them said I calmed them down, and I was there to help them, so I was really happy for that. So I was like, okay, maybe it's time to sell something. What can I sell? And this is me early on, so I had no idea. So I was like, t-shirts. People sell t-shirts. That's merchandise. At the time, I didn't really differentiate merchandise and product. Once again, separate topic. Real quick, merchandise, stuff people buy to support you. Product, things people buy because they want, and maybe to support you. But you should focus. You see the difference there. At the time, I was like, I'll sell t-shirts, and I sold. I think it was this t-shirt. I think this was the first one that I sold, because it was going to be something that said, grind, be kind, unwind, or something. Because I thought, at the time, I thought maybe a slogan will sell better than a logo. But I never even made that, and it looks nicer anyway. So I sold this, and I was like, okay. I have all the, because I was watching other videos about this. I have all the markers. I have the attention. People seem to like me, so I'm just not some huckster that's trying to scam them. I think they have some trust with me. Maybe they'll buy that t-shirt. And I started advertising it, and it sold a few t-shirts. It really wasn't that much. And I'm just like, oh no. I mean, I wasn't broken. I was still learning, but I was like, maybe my brand isn't what I thought it was, because this thing is getting thousands. At the time, I thought that was not thousands of views, thousands of likes, but nobody's really buying the shirt. Man, business is hard. And it wasn't until, I won't go too much into this, because there's like an inner community within our community that prefers to stay by themselves, but their mantra at the time was part of the ship, part of the crew. And when I sold that shirt, I didn't even post that. I didn't even post that I was selling it. I made it, I made a casual Instagram story, and someone else reposted that, and that sold way more. That sold way more shirts. At the time, I made a couple $1,000s from that, which I really needed at the time. Once again, it ramps up fast. I mean, nowadays, it doesn't seem like that much, depending on where you're at. But at the beginning, that was a lot for shirts. I was like, whoa. So your compatibility and how much your audience wants it really, really affects what you make. So to recap, you need the attention. I don't want to say first and foremost, because all of these kind of they all kind of work together, but the whole point of the whole advantage of social media, I would say, is that you can get attention that you wouldn't get otherwise anywhere else. Because I mean, think about this, with your friends, word of mouth, which is really what social media has amplified, is a great way to sell stuff. When your friend recommends something and says, hey, I really like this protein bar, I've been trying it, I check it out, it's really worked for me. Your friend will probably buy it. And I think that's why social media, and I don't like this word, but influencer marketing has really taken off, because it was like word of mouth on steroids, so to speak. Because these influencers, while they weren't necessarily your friend, you felt a connection with them. And that word of mouth of them saying, hey, I like this, I think you should buy it, really, really took off. Nowadays, people are a little bit more skeptical because they know kind of the inner workings behind that. But at the beginning, it made a lot of money, and that's why content creators have really taken off in the past several years. So with word of mouth, without the internet, you already have the respect and the compatibility components. Again, this is one take, only take. You have the respect and the compatibility and the relevance with your friends, but you can't amplify that. Social media amplifies that. So if you want to understand how it works, think about your friend recommending something to you and then amplifying that with social media. That's really all you're doing when you make money on social media. So once again, this is the 101. Look, we're going 19 minutes. Wow. That's a little bit too long, but I don't know if I'm impressed or upset with myself that I can just talk to myself for almost 20 minutes, and I'm actually kind of entertained because I'm learning things as I'm saying things, because I'm trying to think as I speak. So I appreciate you sticking with me for 20 minutes. I know some of it sounded like rambling, but that was me trying to give you all the information that I could. This is written on the back of a dumbbell bench that I recently bought. Not sponsored by the company. That's relevant. But I hope that helps. This is the 101 on how to make money. Everything else that we can break down, like affiliate marketing, sponsorships, what brand deals to take, how to source your products. That's a big one that I'm still kind of learning myself. Please let me know, because we're at the end, so I can kind of talk about this. It's going to be interesting how hybrid creators and hybrid calisthenics grows to me, because with hybrid calisthenics, both of those things I really want to help people. I really want to help people with their fitness. It's a passion of mine. I think there's some things I can share that I hope can really help people. I know can really help people. And then there's a thing that I'm arguably more talented at than I am at calisthenics. Honestly, I think relative to other people in the field, I think I'm better at content creation than calisthenics, because there's some really good calisthenics athletes out there, and there's some people who are really good at social media, but I think I'm probably near to the top in the social media field, and that's not necessarily something I'm proud of. It's just something that I've realized, and it appears to be true. So there is that. It'll be interesting to see how both of these things grow, because with fitness, I don't have to beg people, but I'm like, here's the exercise, here's me breaking it down in 30 seconds, because I know your time is valuable, so I want to make it as easy as possible. I want to make it entertaining, and I want to show you the best of my knowledge presented in the best possible way, always improving. And with hybrid creators, not that I care about, it's the same community, so it's not like I care about this any less, but because I'm spending so much time on this community, it's almost like, look, I have limited time to talk about this. I really do want to help, but I'm building hybrid calisthenics. So here's the information. Let me know if you have questions, but it's really, a lot of it is going to have to be presented in this way, kind of off the cuff, me setting down my phone after I eat dinner. Like, I'm gonna go to sleep in like an hour or so, or even less than that. I'm gonna exercise after this. So part of it will be in my spare time, but I also know this stuff better, and it's kind of more like, here's the information. If it can help you, great. And if someone's like, well, this is too long, I don't want to listen to it. For me, it's almost like, okay. And I'll try to work on it a little bit more. And once again, it's not because I don't care, but it's just because I have limited time with this. So it'll be interesting to see how this grows. One where I'm almost like really trying to get people to do fitness. And another one is just here if you want to listen to it. If you want to listen to it, this is what I have. And of course, as I have more time, as I have a media team, I hope to make both really good. I hope to have hybrid creators have really good production. It's the same information. I gotta tell you, I know fewer people will watch it just because that's how things work. It's the same information that I'm giving now than if I sat down with a professional camera, a professional mic, and trimmed everything down to 5 minutes less than whatever it is now. It's the same information, so you can already benefit from this. More people will be watching if I make it better, but this is the same information. I promise you, I'm doing my best to deliver things for you. Please, once again, I know I've asked many times during this video, please let me know what questions you have, because I have lost my fresh perspective on a lot of this. A lot of the questions that I would have known to answer at the beginning, I didn't document my journey. Not as much as I could have. I already take for granted nowadays. Like I never think about how to make money on social media nowadays. So any questions that you have, there are no stupid questions in this context. So I'll be happy to answer them, especially in the day or two after I upload this video. I really hope it can help you. Let me know what you want to see next. We'll talk soon. Have a beautiful day. No, I was thinking about not putting that into my hybrid creator videos, but I'm so used to saying that at the end, so have a beautiful day.